What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into an amazing holiday edition of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's episode number 798 of the program, presented by the city of Vineland. Your boy KB coming at you solo dolo here on Black Friday morning to gear up for Eagles Bears. It's going to be a shorter episode. The holidays are here, but obviously with the Birds playing, wanted to get an episode out here. A lot of stuff going on around the company that we had to get out and recorded and everything, so things got pushed back a little bit, but you know, that's just how life works. We make things work, we adjust, we adapt, and we move forward. But we're going to talk about Eagles Bears, a little bit of what we're thankful for, and I got a tease because we're going to have story time on Monday's episode. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. It really helps us continue to reach new audiences when you follow us, so please be sure to follow us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads. We're on everything. TikTok. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311, KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow. It helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia and our entire network of podcasts. So be sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and leave those 5-star reviews. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of our original 6 shows each and every week. Full video episodes of this show twice a week. OTB, Top Bins coming back very soon. Streamer Season coming back very soon. Get in the Hole, Underground Circuit, Guzman's Gridiron during the Vineland football season. It's all on our YouTube channel. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And this show, ladies and gentlemen, is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. And let me tell you guys, something. Living in the city of Vineland is an absolute treat. Why, you may ask? Well, it's because the city of Vineland it's the best. Like, I get to operate my business from my hometown, and I get to take part in events all around the city that I can find in the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar, which features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
Hello, I'm Mayor Anthony Fanucci. Vineland, New Jersey offers both a great business location and an outstanding quality of life. But don't just take my word for it, the experts agree. We're proud to be recognized as a premier food processing and logistics hub, one of New Jersey's most affordable and desirable cities, and one of the best places to retire in the country. Visit vinelandcity.org and see how our resources can work for you. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
How we living, ladies and gentlemen? How we living? Welcome into another episode of the program. We're going to talk Eagles Bears here. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Happy holiday season. A doop-de-doo, a dickory-dock. Santa Claus is waiting to come down the chimney now. Something like that is how it goes. But we got a fun one. Eagles Bears on deck here. on Black Friday, playing in the standalone game, the Black Friday game on Amazon Prime. The Eagles got to bounce back in this one, plain and simple. There's a lot to learn from over the past less than week. Devontae Smith will play in this game, which is a huge, huge deal to have Smitty in the lineup. He's been going through a ton of stuff, injury-wise, illness-wise, but he is suiting up, ready to play. You're going to need A.J. Brown to do what he did against the Cowboys, but the Eagles are going to have to put together a full winning effort in this one, unlike the game against the Cowboys. And you're going to need your defense again until we get some sort of proof that this offense is capable of putting up points, and you've got to put on a performance because the Eagles are inducting their newest Hall of Famers, Bronco Nagurski and Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins, ladies and gentlemen, you want to talk about being thankful. Malcolm Jenkins is one of my favorite Philadelphia athletes ever, and his stamp on this organization will live forever. And Malcolm Jenkins, much like Roy Halladay, and I don't tend to put players in the same vein as Roy Halladay very often, but you can with Malcolm Jenkins for a number of reasons. But the most similar thing, outside of them both playing for Philadelphia sports teams, is those two guys will be remembered for the two teams that they played for. Roy Halladay with the Blue Jays and the Phillies, Malcolm Jenkins with the Saints and the Eagles. And, you know, when Malcolm came here, it was one of those things that we felt like we missed the jackpot because Jairus Byrd was the crown jewel of that offseason. He was supposed to be our next Brian Dawkins, and lo and behold, Malcolm Jenkins was our next Brian Dawkins. He came through and embraced this city and just understood what it meant to play in the city of Philadelphia, and to be able to grasp that, where not only are you coming into an environment where you're kind of like viewed as like the runner-up because Jairus Byrd, who ended up going to Malcolm's former team in the Saints, and not really doing much the rest of his NFL career, you play with an already chip on your shoulder coming to a new team, and then you play with a chip on your shoulder with that expectation around you where it's like you got to live up to being Jairus Byrd and what we saw with him in Buffalo. And then Malcolm Jenkins becomes an all-time Eagle. He becomes the captain of the defense for that era of Eagles football. He becomes a community leader in Philadelphia. He becomes a franchise legend when he hoists that Lombardi trophy in 2018 after the 2017 season. Obviously, the Super Bowl won in 2018, and Malcolm Jenkins, that entire team, will mean so much to me because they are the sole reason that we started this podcast, this very show you're listening to that has evolved into a full-blown company when we did. If the Eagles had not won that Super Bowl, I don't know where we would be. And a lot of that is due in part to what Malcolm Jenkins instilled in this franchise from his leadership, from his play on the field, from just the fearlessness that he was a competitor with, and the fact that Malcolm Jenkins is going to be a Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Famer, entrenched forever in this franchise's, history, rightfully so, is super special to me. I love Malcolm Jenkins, and, we've talked about a ton how lucky we've been. You go from Brian Dawkins as your franchise cornerstone on defense and the energy guy and the leader, and then Brian Dawkins leaves in free agency, which should have never happened, and then Malcolm Jenkins comes along just a few years later, and on top of that, once Malcolm leaves, you get someone like C.J. Gardner-Johnson to come in, who, say what you want about C.J. G.J., he is a personified leader, and he's coming in to Philadelphia again, and I hope he gets a hero's welcome, even though he's going to be wearing a Bears jersey. And, follow that up with the development of a guy like Reed Blankenship and what Andrew Makuba, I think, is going to be able to do. We have been so lucky with the safety position in this city, and a lot of that was Malcolm Jenkins choosing to come here in 2014 as a free agent and sticking it out, through the final, blows of Chip Kelly, and then believing in Doug and Jim Schwartz, and on top of that, Rodney McLeod being part of that duo in 2017 and 2016, obviously. Those guys are why the Eagles are Super Bowl champions. And then when Malcolm ended up leaving in free agency to go back to New Orleans, it stung a ton for us as Eagles fans. But, we didn't know where we were heading after the 2020 season. Whoops. Not that New Orleans was like a competitor at the time, but it was one of those things that it almost felt right for Malcolm's career to go back to where it all started for him. But Malcolm wrote this awesome, post on Instagram and posted it in collaboration with the Eagles. And I want to pull it up here because it is so well written. It's so well thought out. And it's finding my way home. Philly, we're back together again, and this time it's forever. When I left the Eagles in 2020, I said it felt like a breakup. I meant that. You don't just walk away from something that shaped you, challenged you, and held you accountable without feeling like a piece of you was left behind. What I didn't know was that love doesn't always require proximity. If it's real, it will find its way back. Today, being inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame feels like finding my way home. To be honored like this in my first year of eligibility as the first player from our Super Bowl team to join the Eagles Hall of Fame is one of the most humbling moments of my life. I look at the names of Eagles defenders already in the Hall: Brian Dawkins, Reggie White, Eric Allen, men I grew up watching, admiring, and learning from. To sit among them now, no longer as a fan but as a peer, is a tremendous honor. We love to talk about individual greatness, even though we all know no one becomes great alone. There's no such thing as self-made. I immediately think about teammates like Chris Maragos, who changed how I saw myself by reminding me before every game that I was the best in the business. I think about the coaches like Jim Schwartz, who saw me clearly and built around my strengths. And I thought about the fans who cemented my resolve by never sparing me from critique, but always showed me love. If I could etch all of them into the Hall of Fame right next to me. If I could, I'd etch all of them in the Hall of Fame right next to me, pardon me. It's one thing to lead a defense. It's another to be considered a leader in a city like Philadelphia. We all know Philadelphia aren't quiet about their opinions. Philadelphians aren't quiet about their opinions. You hold leaders accountable for their effort, their vision, their decision-making, and even their silence. I was no exception. You made it clear that if I was going to be considered great in this city, I had to earn it every single day. Playing here taught me that leaders don't duck the hard questions or shy away from challenges that arise. Champions stand up when things get loud, messy, or complicated. This was the standard I tried to hold throughout my years here, not just on the field, but in the community. I know what this city stands for, and I believe Eagles players should embody those principles. Grit, passion, justice, family. This isn't the place where the flashy survive. This is the land of fighters, and I knew that if I fought for you, you'd fight for me. That's what I love about this place and what so many people don't understand. It's the code of honor that defines the city of brotherly love. I've had time to reflect on what my legacy in Philadelphia really means. The strength of a legacy isn't tied to whether you are remembered. In fact, my legacy has very little to do with me. Legacy is determined by the people who experience it. It's not about the work you put in or even the results. It's about that effort. It's about what that effort means to others. I'm proud to know that many of the things I contributed to this culture, to the culture of this organization and this city, are still alive. That's why this moment matters. Not because I'm being lifted up, but because we can celebrate our shared experience. To the many loyal fans, thank you for challenging me, for embracing me, for making me one of your own. To this amazing city, thank you for shaping me, sharpening my voice, and showing me how to lead with love and unwavering grit. To my former teammates, coaches, and staff who walked this journey with me, this honor is ours. And to the next generation, whether you're in the locker room, in the stands, or in the streets, know this. The seasons pass and records are broken, but the champions are never forgotten. Go Birds. Signed, Malcolm Jenkins. He's truly the best, and for him to have that honor is so special, and I think a lot of people forget just how franchise-altering of a signing it was to bring Malcolm Jenkins here from New Orleans. Because Malcolm has felt like a lifelong Eagle. We as Philadelphians try to forget that he came from New Orleans and finished his career in New Orleans. But he's truly a one of one. He's one of my dream interviews. He's somebody that I look up to a ton. And, it's one of those things that we're relatively close in age, too. And I think that means a lot to the equation. Because you look at, what Malcolm has been able to accomplish at age 37 now. He's a true champion of not only Philadelphia, but just in life. He's a champion, and I'm very happy that he's getting this distinct honor to be inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame. And with that, the Eagles have to perform today and put on a show for a franchise legend in Malcolm Jenkins against a very good Chicago Bears team. The Bears are a very good offense. Their defense, a little suspect. Hopefully no Chicago Bears are listening to this show, because if I talk about a team's defense being a little suspect, apparently it ruffles a lot of feathers in my community and a town right next to mine, no less. But that's story time for Monday. The Bears are a team that will play you close. You look at all the games they've played this year. Their week 1 game, 3-point game. They got blown out by the Lions. They blew out the Cowboys 31-14. They squeaked by the Raiders by 1 point. They squeaked by the Commanders by 1 point. They beat the Saints 26-14. They lose to the Ravens by 14. They won that absolute insane offensive performance, 47-42 over the Bengals. They hold on to beat the Giants 24-20. They beat the Vikings 19-17. They beat the Steelers 31-28. They play a lot of close games, and the thing that scares me with that for the Eagles is when the Eagles are in close games, it's a lot of the time the offense not doing what they're supposed to do. And, the offense has to show up today. I know there's been a ton of criticism, rightfully so, but I hope they take that in stride. I hope the Eagles offense takes the criticism that has been thrown around this week and takes it in stride and go and put on a show in front of 70,000 Eagles fans coming off of Thanksgiving dinner. But, you look at the Eagles games this year, there's been very few games where they put up 30-plus points. It was the game against the Rams, and that was at the buzzer with the Jordan Davis touchdown. They put up 28 against the Vikings, 38 against the Giants, 31 against the Bucks. But really after that, it's been a lot of, 24 or less. 24 against the Cowboys, 20 against the Chiefs, 17 against the Broncos, 17 against the Giants, 10 against the Packers, 16 against the Lions. This offense is too prolific and too talented alone, despite play calling, to not be putting up 30-plus points a game. And I know that's crazy to say in the way that NFL defenses are getting better and playing, but in a game like this where the Chicago Bears defense, guys, to put it in perspective, the Chicago Bears defense ranking in 2025 is ranked 27th overall. They are not good. And, you look at total defense, the Bears sit at 27. They give up 362.8 yards per game. They've allowed 35 touchdowns this year. Their passing defense is 21st in the league. Eagles right behind them at 22. They give up 224.7 passing yards per game, 22 touchdowns through the air. Their rushing defense is... Where's the Bears? I don't even see the Bears on this list. Oh, here they are, 28th. They give up 138.1 yards on the ground, 11 touchdowns. If there was ever a day, and their scoring defense this year, is pretty bad as well. I just saw them. Where'd they go? Bears, 26.5 points per game. Red zone defense, I think, is pretty bad too. I know this is great podcasting, everyone. Red zone defense, 25th. They allow teams to score 61.5% of the time in the red zone. Third down defense, something the Eagles have struggled converting on third down. Go and take advantage of it against the Bears because they are sitting currently. Actually, they're pretty good on third down. That's going to be an interesting, dynamic in this one is the third down defense. But if there was ever a game for Saquon Barkley to find his way, especially after the Cowboys game saying he's been virtually invisible this year and he needs to figure some things out, it is this game. Their rushing defense is bad. They cannot stop the run. Their defense is their weak link. If you are able to put together sustainable drives, that starts at the offensive line, not making mistakes. That starts with opening lanes for Saquon Barkley. That starts with creative routes for your receivers, especially in a game where Devontae Smith's not 100%. Use the middle of the field. Use Dallas Goedert in the passing game. Where has he been? That's another thing I want to check here. Dallas Goedert, in the past couple of weeks, has gone quiet. He started the season super hot in terms of scoring touchdowns. Week 3 against the Rams, scored a touchdown. Against the Bucks, 2 touchdowns. Broncos, touchdown. At the Giants, touchdown. 2 touchdowns against the Giants at Lincoln Financial Field. But the yards are just not there outside of that game at the Giants when he had 110 yards on 9 receptions. His most receiving yards in a game after that was the Cowboys game in the opener when he only had 44 yards, but he had 7 catches. You got to get your tight ends more involved. Like, the fact that Dallas Goedert was on this, he's already got a career high in touchdowns, but he's on a, horrendous pace in terms of receiving yards this year. He's only got 38 receptions, which would be the second fewest of his career, only in front of his rookie season. He's only got 376 yards on the year receiving. He's averaging 9.9 yards per catch. That, to me, is just another telltale sign of this offense being incompetent because your tight end is not getting anything after the catch. It's very dink and dunk. It's not creative like we've said for weeks. And it's wild to me that that is the case when you have the talent there to go out and perform at a high level and make sure that, you're able to produce on offense with the talent you have. And when you're not producing, it's very evident because this offense is hot dog water. And it's going to be imperative that this Eagles offense puts together sustainable drives, puts together a performance that makes us kind of be like, oh, that's the Eagles team we know. That's this offense. That is this team that has the talent to go out and perform. And I mean, Caleb Williams is going to put on a performance. He's going to want to try to go toe for toe with Jalen Hurts and try to put the team on his back. But it's going to be imperative for the offense to show up. You cannot rely on the defense to just do everything for you. And I just hope that this team has learned from the Cowboys game, learned from the mistakes there, and, it's going to be on this team to be disciplined, play disciplined football. And if you are able to control the line of scrimmage, if you are able to contain their defense with pass protection and run blocking up front, which I know we haven't seen much, if any, run blocking at all this year. So that's going to be a huge point of emphasis, I think. But this team has to put together a complete 4 quarters if they want to win this football game and not fall further deep, and then people continuing to make comparisons that this feels more like 2023 rather than 2022 and 2024. And, you know, I understand the concern and the thought process of thinking, oh, this is 2023 all over again. They can't score. It's an uncreative offense, and they're still 8-3. You still control your own destiny. You have the tiebreaker in hand if the Rams were, you know, to slip, which, like, you look at the Rams' schedule moving forward, and, you know, they still have to play the Panthers, the Cardinals, the Lions, the Seahawks, the Falcons, and the Cardinals again. It's not a given, per se, that all of those games will be wins. I'll put it that way. So it's going to be imperative that this team just plays a complete 4 quarters for the first time, it feels like, all year. There's been very few complete games that this Eagles team has been able to throw out here in 2025. But I feel confident knowing that the Eagles have the talent to overcome a lot of the things that we could see from the Bears. Obviously, the Bears are a very talented football team. Ben Johnson's a very creative and smart coach. You're going to have to out-create and outsmart him in a lot of ways if you're Vic Fangio. And then Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni are going to have to match that to a degree on our offensive side of things and beat a bad Bears defense. That's plain and simple. Go beat a bad Bears defense. You can't go full throttle and then just get complacent and play not to lose, because then you get results like you did against the Broncos, like you did against the Cowboys, like you almost did against the Packers, like you almost did against the Lions. It's too much complacency, in my opinion. And they've got a lot to figure out, and luckily it's a short week so they could throw that Cowboys game away. But they definitely have a lot of things to figure out going into this game, and hopefully they are ready for it. Hopefully they are prepared for what is to come from Caleb Williams, from old friend DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, and DJ Moore, and, you know, Roma Dunze and Luther Burden. They have a talented team, do the Chicago Bears. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm excited for it. You know, it's not one of those things that I'm not looking forward to, because I certainly am looking forward to. I think it's going to be one hell of a matchup, and it's all going to come down to execution. It's going to come down to smart play calling. It's going to come down to who doesn't make stupid mistakes that shoot yourself in the foot. Can't have false start penalties, can't have holding penalties up front. You got to navigate another game without Lane Johnson, and you just got to be smart at the end of the day. You got to figure some things out and be smart with it. And if you're able to be smart on the football field, more often than not, this team finds ways to win when they're playing smart football. You're going to get the Malcolm Jenkins boost with energy in the stadium. Don't disappoint these fans. You know, it's tiresome enough when you've got people saying outlandish things about this team. Let's look at it all-encompassing. There's a lot of blame to go around, and a lot can be fixed when you win. You can fix a lot of these woes if you win. But I think your X factor is the offensive line. The offensive line creating time and space for Jalen Hurts, for Saquon Barkley, is going to be imperative in this game. And if you're able to do that, I think the Eagles will have a damn good shot to win this game. Things I'm nervous about are the safety position. Is Reed Blankenship going to be 100%? You know, Sidney Brown is going to be starting at safety, with Andrew Makuba being out for probably the rest of the year. You know, pending playoffs and everything, but I would assume he's done for the season. Devontae Smith will play, which is a huge thing. Unfortunately, Willie Lampkin, his practice window to return from injured reserve expired, so he's on IR the rest of the year. Reed's listed without a status. Landon Dickerson's without a game day status. Brandon Graham, Devontae Smith, that's huge. But out in this game, Lane Johnson, Xavier Gibson, and Miles Hinton. So some interesting stuff to roll along here. But out for the Bears, TJ Edwards, our old friend, Ruben Hippolyte II, Dominique Robinson, Noah Sewell, Tyreek Stevenson. That's 3 of their linebackers are out for this game, so that's something to certain. And Tremaine Edmonds is out; he's on injured reserve. There's such a good opportunity for this team to do a lot of good things here against the Chicago Bears. I'm hoping they're able to put it all together because I think they're capable of putting it all together, but we shall see. It is Thanksgiving week. I wanted to just quickly say thank you guys. I'm thankful for all the listeners, the supporters, the followers, whether you're supportive listening or hate watching. I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you because you allow me to live out my dream of talking sports in a way that is fan-driven, for fans, by fans. And, it's something I never take for granted any single day that I get to sit here behind this microphone and get to yap with you guys about our favorite sports teams, about our favorite topics on shows. So super thankful for you all. It's a job that definitely has its ups and downs, especially when it's not my full-time job yet. So there's a lot to be thankful for that, we're sitting here on the brink of, year 8, and we're still doing this thing at a high level. And, we just started on a laptop in a basement, and here we are in a full-fledged setup in a basement. But I'm super thankful for you guys. I'm super thankful for, my family and my parents, especially, who believe in this thing and know that this thing has the opportunity to go to the moon. My sister, obviously Matt, for holding it down and still supporting, even though he's no longer on the show. But super thankful and super appreciative of everybody who tunes in each and every week. I appreciate all the patience with texts, screw-ups and internet issues and scheduling problems. You guys being understanding and kind and generous all the time really means the world. So thank you. I feel like I speak for everybody here at the company who works on a show, who works behind the scenes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And hopefully, Monday we're talking about a big Eagles win here on Black Friday. But I wanted to get a little Eagles talk out there for you guys here before the game. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. Please, please, please follow us. It means the world. And we love, growing this fan base to the moon. So get on board, follow us on the socials, subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. Goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow. Helps us reach new audiences, new members of the Underground Army, the Underground Nation. We got to think of a name for our fans. We've been doing this too long to not have something out there for you guys to call yourselves. But yeah, subscribe on Apple and Spotify, and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. We are at 1,161 subscribers, which means we are 39 away. 39 away from 1,200, which is our end-of-year goal now. Since we didn't hit it before Thanksgiving, I want to hit it before the end of the year. Can we make it happen? Can we hit 1,200 before the end of the year? Please subscribe. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section and click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And this show, guys, as you all know, is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. And whether you are a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 798, a Black Friday Eagles game preview edition, a Thanksgiving weekend edition of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. Let's go get a win. Let's go win this game. Let's beat the Bears. Let's feel good going into Monday Night Football. That's our next game, Monday Night Football, out in LA against the Chargers. So lots to look forward to there. Keep your eyes and ears peeled on the schedule for potential guests coming up on the show, and a whole lot more. But until Monday's episode, I'm getting the heck up out of here. I'm signing off. This has been episode number 798 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the holiday weekend. I'll see you on YouTube and in your ears on Monday morning. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here. I'm signing off. Go Birds. Peace.